Hello everyone. I just figured I'd fill you in on our next stage here. So what we're doing is we're pouring the concrete slab on the floor, and to make it easier, they're just sending that chute in through the window. And for this end of the barn, they've already done 90% of the whole barn, and they're just releasing it in. We're doing a final area, one of the stall lanes. We'll actually cut and go inside, and you'll be able to see what's going on and how they did it. And but this is just how they get the concrete in this area. For the main part of the barn, it was all sent through a pump truck. So they would take this concrete truck, transfer it into a pump truck, which then pumped it all the way in. So this way they didn't have to wheelbarrow. All right. So why don't you pause that and we'll go inside. So this is the pump truck that they use. They would put the concrete into this back section over here. You can see as we pan over, so the concrete would be pumped into the back of this, and then through these series of hoses and stuff, that pipe, it would go out and then they would attach. So they're just wrapping that up. Let's go over here and see where we are now. So here's the inside view. As it's getting dumped in, they're just taking it. As that's getting filled up, they're just shuttling it into position. So it just worked out a lot easier on this side, not even to bother with that pump truck. It would have been more of an issue to move it around. And what you can see is, as you pan to the right, this is the horse stall area on the west side of the barn. So this is the final stage for this in terms of getting this. Underneath this concrete, there is 4 inches of 3/4 inch crushed stone. So the last several days I've been grading out the floor in the barn to make sure it's all level, using like a laser transit, getting it all flat surface. Then I applied 4 inches of crushed stone, 3/4 inch crushed stone, got that level, and we're at this stage in preparation. So when you do a concrete floor, there's a lot of preparation to get it ready. So we were able to do that, fortunately, ourselves. So as you can see, this is the last final step, piece that needs to be done. So they're just shuttling it in. And as you can see on the other side, so this is the aisle. There's going to be stalls on both sides of the barn. They did this yesterday, so at least there's a surface area to walk on. So this is going to be the laneway that we drive the horses through or bring them in. This area on this side, that what they're working on, these are going to be 5 box stalls over here. Then as we pan over here, they're smoothing the surface here. This is how they do it with this big handheld trowel. These are going to be box stalls here. Then on the far side, that's all the cattle and the buffalo area. And you can see it's got an aggressive sort of ripple effect. And we had that installed intentionally. So that way when the cattle and the buffalo are on that, the grooves will give them footing. And that way, when it gets wet, it won't be slick where they fall down. My objective in there is to keep it easily to clean and stuff. I'm going to use wood chips to put down in there. But as you see, this is being all smooth where the horses are. I'm going to put rubber stall mats inside and even run some down the main laneway. So when the horses are walking, they're going to be on rubber. In their stalls, they're also going to be on rubber mats as well. And we're going to use, of course, a lot of stall bedding, pellets, or whatever be it that we like to use. But this is going to alleviate a lot of issues we have with our current barn, where over time, underneath it, it's a dirt floor, and it just gets eaten out with the weight of those big horses stomping their feet or whatever. And as you're cleaning it, you're always taking away dirt. They beat up the rubber mats pretty good. This is really going to be a nice change. But anyhow, this just goes to show you where we are. This is going to get us to the next step where hopefully they're going to start putting up the protective barrier on the inside of the wall so the animals won't have access to touch any of the metal siding. So that'll protect that as well. And so hopefully you're enjoying watching as we're going. This is a big project and it's exciting. And everybody's always asking, you know, what something like this costs. I don't even want to fantasize think about it. All I know, it's a lot of payments for many years we'll be making. But in the long run of doing anything, it's just the best thing to do it the right way. That's how I like to do it. I've waited a long time in my life to hit this point. Now that we're here, I just want to do it the right way, and my animals are going to benefit from it. And that's the best thing. And then we can educate our guests with showing them the right way how to do things. That's one thing I like to educate people is anybody could have animals, and the animals don't have a choice in where they end up in life. At least doing it this way, my animals, I'm going to show them the best life they can have. And I like to educate and show people how you don't have to go to this extreme, but this has been my dream to do this. But also you want to give the animals the best opportunities they can have as well. So it's just good animal husbandry. Thank you very much for following. Have a great day.